I'm going to be doing my Thomas and Friends movie collection. Yep, I have every single special right now, probably apart from Digs and Discoveries. But I'll be getting that when it comes out on DVD. But some people think that it's not a movie. Some people think that it's a movie or an episode. Mattel should have really made the idea when they first announced that the 2019 Thomas movie. Well, I guess this is the Thomas movie. I guess this is gonna be the Thomas the Tank Engine films that we're gonna have from Digs and Discoveries onwards. 40-minute specials like The Adventure Begins. But yeah. So yeah. Anywho, let's get on with the show. Here's the first one, and it's Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Yep, the movie that people do not like. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of fans that this movie is really bad, and doesn't connect to the series. Well, I actually kind of agree because the story's a bit complicated in places, and I don't know why it's based on an American TV show. Some kids may not know what Shining Time Station is. Yeah, they wouldn't know what the show is. They would only know what Thomas the Tank Engine is. And this movie was actually meant to be different. They were meant to have different actors. Well, for Thomas, yes. John Bellis was meant to narrate him. And Diesel 10 was meant to be voiced by Keane Scott, which he was originally meant to get a Russian accent. No, an Australian accent, but he was cut because he was too scary for children. And there was also going to be another villain in this movie called P.T. Boomer. He was also cut. And George was also going to be a secondary villain, and he was also cut. There's a few characters that were meant to be in the movie that were cut. The only character that made to the final progress is Cranky. Yeah, Cranky was meant to have a role in it, but he was cut. Well, I hate to spoil this for you guys, but in one scene when Diesel 10 tries to leave the sheds from Nafford, you can see a really long tower, which is actually Cranky. I don't know why he was based on Nafford. Yeah. And another problem with this is Edward isn't in it. Yeah, he's the only original member of the Steam team. Not, I'm not gonna count Emily because she wasn't, or Nia or Rebecca, because they weren't even made at the time. So yeah, if you like this movie, then that's fine. Anyways, here's the front with Thomas, Lady, Mutt, Diesel 10, Lily, Junior, Mr. Conductor, and Burnett Stone. Here's the spine and the back. We have some scenes from the film. We also have the summary of the film. We also have Thomas, Lady, and Dodge. Yeah, I really do like the DVD cover. I could give credit to that. And here's the disc. So this movie, well, it gets 6 out of 10. Yeah. And here comes the next film. And it's Calling All Engines. Yes, this movie was terrible. A lot of fans hated it. Like, that, I can't remember that user's name is, that did a rant on that during Thomas Sember. Sorry, I can't remember his name. But he says that this movie is awful. And I have to agree with him. Because, probably because of Diesel 10. Yeah. Diesel 10 is completely out of character in this movie. You know he was the main antagonist in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. But in this movie, he's a freaking good guy. Why hit entertainment? Why? No, I'm not gonna be. No, I'm not gonna be reviewing it. It's just I have to agree with him for some of the problems. Yeah, the first feature length special. Well, not exactly. Thomas and the Magic Railroad was actually the first movie. This is the second Thomas and Friends movie. And this is the first special. This movie is both a special and a film. Yeah. And this is probably this only Thomas and Friends film that didn't get to release in cinemas in the UK, along with The Adventure Begins. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Percy, Diesel 10, James, or I think that's Ari or Bert. No, sorry about that. It looks a bit like Ari. Yeah, that's Ari. So yeah, here's the front, the spine, and the back. Here's the summary of the film. We also have Diesel 10, Emily, James, and Toby. We have the bonus features. Yeah. And here's the disc. I also have another copy of this, which is in the CEX bag, which I'm also selling it. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I have to sell because only one copy's enough. And will I keep this DVD? Well, yes. Am I gonna sell this? No. You wanna know why? Because I just wanted to add it to my collection, because why not? Along with Missy I Am Rescue. And here's the next one, it's The Great Discovery. Now this is the really first Thomas the Tank Engine film that I actually like. Yeah, this is the first good Thomas and Friends film, because it had charm to the classic series. Thanks, Thomas Fan 2002. The reason why I like this movie is because Pierce Brosnan's in it. And if you don't know who Pierce Brosnan is, he was from Mamma Mia and oh yeah, James. He was James Bond, and he also was in The Simpsons. Yeah, and he was also meant to narrate the 12th season of Thomas, along with probably maybe the entire CGI era up until 2000 and up until season 19, I think. I don't know. But according to the wiki, it was meant to be season 14. That would be the final season that he narrated, until he would be replaced by a different narrator. Oh, that's good to hear. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas and Stanley. Yeah, that's a great one. They should actually make a meme out of that line. Because a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine fans find that line really popular. So yeah, here's the front, spine, and the back. And here's the plot of the movie. And we have a scene from the film that Thomas was rolling down the hill to get to the other side. And we also have Percy, Emily, as you can see her in the back, Toby, Edward, that's Annie, and Stanley. Yeah. And here's the disc. I really like the DVD cover. It looks really nice. And I also like the DVD case as well. They should actually make more gold DVD cases in the future. But yeah, I think they have it from some movies as well. They also have a gold cover in Bob the Builder Race to the Finish, which I also have, as you can see. So yeah. And here, oh yeah, and this is also the last Thomas and Friends model film ever created. Here's the next one, and it's Hero of the Rails. Yep, this is the very first time that we actually see Thomas in full CGI. But however, this wasn't actually going to be the first time we see Thomas in full CGI. I think it was season 13 or Missy and Rescue. Because this movie was originally meant to be made during the model series. This was actually meant to be released during season 12. That they were gonna have the models and the CGI faces, but there were gonna be models for Hero, Victor, and Kevin at the works, and probably even Charlie for season 13. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Spencer, Hero, Victor, and the Fat Controller, which that's his model from the season 12 era. Spine with Thomas and the back. And here's some scenes from the film with Hero, Victor, and Kevin. We have the paw of it and bonus features. And here's the disc. No.
You mix the batch with cultural layers now,
No.
so I have to go get
No.
the candle later.
Not now.
It just takes 2 minutes, Sean.
I'm,
1 minute.
I'm busy.
Let me know when you're not.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. It was just my mom coming in. Anyways, here's the disc. Alright. This movie is great. Oh yeah, I forgot to give my opinions on Calling All Engines and The Great Discovery. Well, Calling All Engines gets a 3 out of 10 and The Great Discovery gets a 10 out of 10. And this one gets a 10 out of 10 as well. Here's the next one, and it's actually the worst Thomas and Friends movie ever created. And it's Missy Island Rescue. Yet, everybody says that this movie is absolutely garbage. And I have to agree with them. This movie is awful. Yeah. They really hate it because of these three idiots there, Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand. And nobody cares about Captain at all. Yeah. And this was originally meant to be the first time that Thomas appeared in full CGI. I could be wrong. This could have been during the models, along with season 14. No, I'll probably be wrong. So yeah, if you like this movie, then I respect your opinion. Anyways, here's the front with Thomas, the Logging Locos, Harold, Sir Topham Hatt, and Captain. The spine, and the back, which has Thomas, Ferdinand, Dash and Bash, and Captain. We also have scenes from the movie, and the description of it, and the bonus features. And here's the disc. Oh yeah, and I also have another copy of this along with Dave the Diesels, because early this year, my friend from Eton from secondary school gave me two Thomas and Friends movies that nobody likes, and which I actually like Dave the Diesels. Sorry I said it. Yeah. But however, I'm not going to say it. I decided to sell them. Because, you know, I already have those two. But, yeah. So, yeah. That's basically all I have to say. And, Yeah. So this movie gets a 0 out of 10. And here's the next one. And it's Dave the Diesels. Which this movie is at least better than Missy on Rescue. I can tell you that. Yeah. They still have a few problems with it, like Percy being the protagonist of it and Thomas getting a less screen time. That's like what happened to Cars 2, which I done my Disney Pixar DVD collection yesterday. If you guys haven't seen that, I should recommend it. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Diesel 10, Salty, Mavis, Den, and Dart. Here's the spine and the back. We have the plot of the film. We have the summary of it. We also have a few scenes from the movie. So yeah, on the back we also have Flynn, Dart, Thomas, Den, Percy, Diesel 10, and Bell. Yeah. And here's the disc, which has the Diesels on it. This movie gets a 7 out of 10, actually. Yeah. And here's the next one, and it's Blue Mountain Mystery. Now, I heard from my user friend Toyer Toys YT that he hates this movie because he just doesn't like it probably because of the narrow gauge engines running away from Thomas when Thomas was about to tell Luke about the yellow engine. Yeah. And I respect his opinion on it, and I actually do hate that scene. But I don't hate the entire film. Yeah. So here's the front with Thomas, Luke, Owen, Merrick, Renee's, and Sir Handel. And the spine and the back, which we also have Owen, Luke, Thomas, Victor. We have Winston and the back controller, and Merrick. Which the new characters from the movie don't get enough appearances and speaking roles these days. Owen and Merrick don't have characters whatsoever. They just stand there and do nothing. But Luke and Winston are pretty good. And they had their own episodes to themselves in season 17. And Winston had an episode to himself in season 16. So yeah. We also have the bonus features. And here's the disc, which looks really cool. Yeah, and this is actually the last movie made by Nitrogen Studios. And then it was replaced by Arc Productions from 2013 to 2016. So yeah, this movie, 9 out of 10. And here's the next one, which Thomas and Friends started to go back uphill again, starring with King of the Railway. Yep, everybody loves this movie because they brought back the realism in it and the clever writing and alliteration. And the alliteration done right in it. And there wasn't any alliteration in it whatsoever, or rhyming, or any crappy characters. Yeah. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas and Stephen. And here's the spine and the back with Thomas, Stephen, Millie, and the Earl. We have the plot of it, and we also have the bonus features. And here's the disc. Yep. This movie, 10 out of 10. And here's the next one, and it's Tale of the Brave. Yet, some people think this movie is a bit average, but I kind of have to disagree with you because this movie is actually really entertaining. Because it was actually better than King of the Railway. No, King of the Railway is not bad, but it's still really good. But this was a lot more action packed and clever story ish. And this is probably one of the darkest special Thomas and Friends thing that we had since season 5, which that was the darkest season of Thomas. Because, lots of crashes and explosions and all that. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Percy, James, and Gator. Here's the spine and the back with Thomas and Gator. We also have the bonus features and the summary of the film. And here's the disc. So yeah, this movie, 10 out of 10. And I really like the artwork on the DVD. I think Entertainment did a really good job with it. And here's the next one. It's The Adventure Begins. Yep, I have the Australian copy. I'm hoping to get the UK copy soon. If I do, then I'll probably have to sell this to CEX or something. Yeah. Now, everybody says that this movie is really good, and I've got to admit, I agree with yous. Because, railway series stories and all that, really good. Yeah. So here's the front with Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, and the Fat Controller. The spine and the back. And we have the plot of the movie / special episode. And we have that CGI season 12 model again of the Fat Controller like you've seen in Hero of the Rails. And we also have the bonus features. And here's the disc. And it's a blue one. Like, probably all Australian DVDs have just colored discs. And not having them, it's a bit lazy if you ask me. And I don't know if you can see, but we also have advertisements for other DVDs, like we have some other Thomas DVDs, Fireman Sam, Mike the Knight, and Bob the Builder. Yeah. You get the paper slip back in the case. Hold on, it's a bit tricky. So yeah, some people predict that this is the best Thomas and Friends movie in history. Well, in my opinion, it actually isn't, but I'm not saying that I hate it, it's just not my favorite. So yeah, this movie, 10 out of 10. And here's actually my favorite Thomas the Tank Engine film. And that's what all fans say. Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. Yep, a lot of people find this movie really, really good. And surprisingly, this is the very first Thomas the Tank Engine film that I've seen in cinemas. No lie, I actually saw it back in 2015. I saw it on the 9th of August 2015. And yes, I do remember what day I saw it because I have really good memories. So yeah, a lot of people find this really good because it was action packed and it was a phenomenon. So the pack, well, most of them, which are Alfie, Oliver, Max, and Monty, which we've previously seen Jack in King of the Railway, but he didn't return until this special. But yeah, season 19. So yeah, thanks. That was just my mom again, bring my dinner for me. Anyways, yeah. And surprisingly, we also had Mike, Rex, and Bert in this movie, which is really cool. I hope we get more Railway series characters in the future because, yeah, but I don't know if we will, but we'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Ryan, Skiff, and Sailor John. The spine and the back, which we have the plot of it and the bonus features. We also have Thomas, Rex, Mike, and Bert, which looks cool if you ask me. And here's the disc. Yep. This movie, 10 out of 10. And here's the next one, and it's The Great Race. Yep. This movie is really great, in my opinion. Some people find it alright and average, but I actually really enjoyed it because it was action packed and it was really awesome. And this was actually the very first time that all Thomas characters sing songs. Like, this is the really first. So, yeah. And surprisingly, we have so many new characters in this movie. Like, we have Ashina, Yongbao, Shane, Rajiv, Raul, Gina, Vinny, Carlos, all of them. Yeah. And some of the new characters in the movie came back in season 22 and Big World Big Adventures, which I'll be showing it to you in a few minutes. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Ashima, Gordon, which is Dreamline Look, and Flying Scotsman. The spine and the back, which we have all the characters, all the new characters from the movie. Yep, and we have the bonus features in the plot. And here's the disc, which looks really good. And we also have a leaflet, which advertises some merchandise of the movie. This movie, 10 out of 10. And here's the next one, and it's Journey Beyond Sodor. Some people think that this is the downfall of Thomas the Tank Engine all over again, but in my opinion, I actually really enjoyed it. Yes, I actually really enjoyed it. I remember seeing it in theaters day release, along with The Great Race, which I saw that on the 21st of May 2016. I saw this on the release date as well. And I also saw it with my friends as well. But if you hate this, but if you hate this movie, then I respect your opinion as long as you respect mine. You know, we all have opinions, so yeah. So here's the front with Thomas, James, and Frankie. And we have this beautiful background of the steelworks. We also have Cranky there, which I don't know why he's there. It's probably just a random crane that was never shown in the movie. So yeah, here's the front, spine, and the back with Lexi, Merlin, Theo, Beresford, Thomas, and James. And with some sheep as well. We also have the bonus features and the summary of the film. Some people hate this movie probably because of the bouncing and the non-realism in it. But in my opinion, I don't mind the bouncing in this, along with season 21. At least this movie didn't have that much bouncing in it, unlike Big Adventures to season 22. This movie actually has a bit less bouncing in it. Yeah. And this was also the really first Thomas the Tank Engine film that was animated by Jamfield Toronto. And The Great Race was also the last Thomas and Friends art production film and an art production product before it got bankrupt in late 2016. So yeah, here's the back of it and the disc, which we also have a leaflet for some merchandise. We also have my ticket when I saw it, which is a bit worn out. Yeah. So this movie, 10 out of... Oh, sorry. This movie, 10 out of 10. But like I said, if you hate this movie, then I respect your opinion. And here's the next one, and it's Big World, Big Adventures. So yeah, some people think this is the actual start of Thomas's second downfall. But in my opinion, I actually kind of agree. No, I'm not saying I hate it, it's just alright. Nowhere near as good as Journey Beyond Sodor, but this movie was alright. At least we had some returning characters like Yong Bao, Vinny, Rajiv, and Carlos. Which Rajiv made and Vinny made cameos. And Ashima and Shane didn't return until season 22, and Raul and Gina didn't return until series 23 and Digs and Discoveries. So yeah, here's the front with Thomas, Nia, Yong Bao, Ace, a giraffe, and an elephant. And yeah, this is also the first time that we hear Yong Bao speak in the main series. So yeah, here's the front, spine, and the back with all the new characters in it. Like we have the international rally cars, Tony, Angelique, and those two other guys. Ace, Thomas, Nia, the Fat Controller, the African and Brazilian troublesome trucks, all of them. Yeah. We have the summary of the film and bonus features. Yeah. And here's the disc, which is barely different to the one because the elephant and the giraffe and Nia are not in it. We also have a ticket when I saw it. And we also have a leaflet for some merchandise. And we also have a Thomas Land, whatever. So yeah, that was my Thomas and Friends 2019 movie collection. So yeah, I'll probably count Digs and Discoveries in this when I get that next year. So yeah, that's all for now. Stay tuned for more videos coming up soon. And this is me signing off.